So I was told by some people about this new game called Dragonball Sparking Zero, and they were talking about how great the game is, how much it revives the old Tenkaichi games on the PS2, which is a franchise I've never heard of. I think they might have been confused and got the title wrong or something, because I don't think Tenkaichi is an actual word. Also, there's no Tenkaichi in the subtitle of this game either, so I don't really understand where the connection is coming from. As a matter of fact, there have been a lot of Dragon Ball Z related games over the last decade since the PS2 era, so it's not like there's anything new to discuss in terms of the combat or nothing. As far as the story is concerned, they're essentially just rehashing it from the cartoon, which my boyfriend says is racist, because they include a blackface stereotype for one of the characters. Mr. Poo Poo, I think was his name, so yeah, that's not funny. Akira Toriyama should apologize for making that character. It doesn't matter that he's a character from the 80s and his appearance is based on a mythical legend or something. I don't want excuses, guys. I just don't want to see racist stereotypes in the year 2024. Maybe they still do those things in Japan, but here in America, we treat all races with respect. Another thing I'm offended by are the graphics and the presentation, because it looks better than all the overpriced indie games and Nintendo exclusives I play on my Switch. But they're still good, because I don't play games for visuals and graphics. I play them to have fun. If companies like Square Enix and Capcom can't release their big budget titles on decade-old mobile hardware from 2015, then they just have to optimize their games better. It's not like technology has improved at all since the Switch launched. Things like ray tracing and photorealism can't happen on the Switch, but we're still the leader in console market sales, which means we're still the best in terms of hardware. Am I right, my fellow Wokies? Can I get a woke amen from all my Nintendo allies? The reality is, I have to bring up the fact that games like Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero that perpetuate racism are wrong. I hate using the word perpetuate, by the way, because it's racist towards the Chinese people who run a restaurant down the street from where I live. And I'm against Asian hate, unless they're being bigoted towards the things I believe in. In which, at that point, I would educate them. But to get to the point, I know a lot of Nazis on Twitter. A website which was ruined by Elon Musk, because he's turning it into 4chan, which is somehow a bad thing, I guess. The frickin' Nazis on there, they complain about DEI in a completely derogatory way. Like it's some kind of disease or a cancer. First off, cancer isn't something to joke about, okay? You know, be a little bit nice, show a little compassion. My black lesbian aunt died from cancer last week, so yeah, guys, just show a little sympathy with that. Second, what's wrong with adapting an old IP for modern times? Like, the world was very different since Dragon Ball was first released back on the PS2 or something. And I see nothing wrong with changing how some of the characters look. Kind of like how I was saying earlier in my video, what are the implications behind naming a black-faced genie with a turban and red lips Mr. Poo Poo? That's something my older brother would have made up back when we were like 10 and 6 years old. But he doesn't talk like that anymore, because he grew up, got married, and got a life. And even though he doesn't acknowledge me, my lifestyle, or my marriage certificate, we're still cool with each other, because he's aware of what he can and cannot say in front of me. And something I noticed just now, when I was looking over the footage a few seconds ago, I saw some smoke come out of that rock plateau when it got blown up. I hate smoke, because it reminds me of Steam. And PC gaming is a toxic, gatekeeping community ran by a bunch of basement-dwelling Neanderthals. And it's overall just, like, it's just hurting the gaming community in general, because it has the most exclusives, more modding capabilities and piracy, therefore it's hurting gaming. Unlike companies like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, where they make consoles that you can't steal games from, because the Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch are just so well protected. So overall score, I have to give Dragon Ball Sparking Zero a 4 out of 10. Maybe if they made it more diverse and took out all the violence, I would rank it a little bit higher. But it's an archaic game derived from an archaic IP for a time and behavior that's been since long gone. So I'll see you guys in my next review, and make sure to watch out for potholes on the road when driving for work tomorrow. I'm currently not employed or nothing, and I don't know how to drive because I'm a bit of a man-child. That's paying my share of the rent from autism checks that I get from the government every month. But I just wanted to be helpful and project my insecurities and incompetence onto you, the viewer, to try and seem helpful. Oh, and before I officially close the video, I want to give a shout out to all the Native Americans in my audience, since it is currently Indigenous Peoples Day weekend. I know that for hundreds of years we've been calling it Christopher Columbus Day because we thought that he discovered America. But now we're calling it Indigenous Peoples Day because you were here first. And Christopher Columbus was a racist who R-worded you guys to death. I feel like apologizing for all of that because I'm 128th Comanche on my great-great-great-grandmother's side. And I want to apologize on behalf of my great-great-great-grandfather, despite not being alive when he did what he did. You were just living together in harmony for thousands of years, eating corn on the cob, berries and fruit. Y'all were making art and not killing each other and just being genuine good human beings until people like my white ancestors showed up and oppressed you. That's not cool. So yeah, I'll see you guys later on my next review.